keep fighting for me and keep showing your love and support.
Hey, hello everybody.
Hello, sorry, my granddaughter is fascinated with the TV, and here we are. See, there's Mama right there, Alice and Becca. Yep. So
Yay.
my granddaughter is seeing us on the YouTube, so she's all fascinated with that. So how are you, everybody?
Pretty good. I just came home from work. I'm holding a sleepy puppy and ready to do this. We're a little bit behind. I'm a little unprepared, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. It's 4th of July. Hi, Jazz Naz. Hi, Mystic. Hi. Hello, R. William.
My turn to like this.
Yeah, your switch. Yeah, you might hear my granddaughter in the back.
That's
talking.
so good. It's so good. How are you doing, Alice?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Happy 4th of July, either you both. I hope you've had a good weekend.
So far, so good. Let's see. Tonight I have one more work night, and then tomorrow I have Monday off, where I'm gonna basically sleep and prepare. And Tuesday I'm heading off to Manitowoc.
Woohoo!
So yeah, my weekend's just been work. But you know, getting some last minute things done, like sending off some stuff to Brendan.
Okay, you want to watch yourself on TV?
Mm-hmm.
She wants to see herself on TV. So
That's fine. Go for it. Yeah, do it.
Come here, baby. See yourself. Now watch on TV. Watch her see yourself up there. Watch it. Okay.
What's her name?
Her name is Elise. There you are. Look.
Hi, Elise.
Look at you.
That's so cute.
You're
on TV.
Yeah, you're a YouTube star. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Say, free Brendan Dassey. Yes.
Yeah. Elise, you're adorable. But yeah.
She's playing Animal Crossing now. So anyway, now she's a YouTube star and she's happy.
Yay. I love Animal Crossing. But yeah, so happy 4th of July, everybody. Today is actually Brendan's favorite holiday. And I thought I'm going to change the title of this YouTube when we're done, but I thought instead of doing a reading of the court transcripts and getting everybody all mad and angry, we could read some Amicus brief stuff instead.
Yeah, something positive. Yeah.
So I found some of the Atticus briefs. I went to the StephenAvery.org, I believe it's called, where all that stuff is. I will post this in our Discord when we're done. I'm sure you can also find it on Foul Play. I just happened to I went to Google and I typed it in.
And Eric Cozy also did a big thing on this too. So if you go,
I'm sure he did. Yeah.
Yep, you'll see that because he was a big Brendan Dassey supporter. So.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find that in his too.
If one of the we only have 4 people in our chat. I was gonna say if one of the admin or the mods in the chat want to post his thing. His link to his YouTube. Hi, Robin.
Yeah,
you know,
Jazz will get it, or Alice will get it. Somebody will.
Yeah, there's tons of resources in there on his channel too. Tons of videos, tons of resources. He was a very big advocate for Brendan, and he's very, very he's very missed in the community. But so. Diving right to it, here's the Atticus brief. This one is from the Juvenile, or Atticus brief of the Juvenile Law Center. Basically, back in 2018, they issued a whole bunch of stuff to the Supreme Court from experts and stuff. Basically experts and stuff who are writing on behalf of Brendan Dassey and kind of like giving their 2 cents as far as why they feel like Brendan is innocent, why he should be released. Lots of experts, lots of like great resources and experts in this. So here's the, here's the address and all that for their information. And then table of authorities, interests, summary of argument. The different pages, 39 pages of this particular one. The different cases that they're citing for this paper. See all these cases and stuff, all these resources, all these people. Up here you have the different people, the authors, so different people who have basically written in regards to this. All these,
look at all of them.
Yeah, and all the resources and stuff. Even Steve Drizzen and Richard A. Leo, the problem of false confessions in post-DNA world. You know, so all these resources from all these different experts that talk about juvenile stuff. The Juvenile Law Center et al. I'm not really good with Latin, so excuse me. Work on the juvenile justice, criminal justice, and children's rights. Amici have a unique perspective on interplay between the Amicus.
Yes.
Okay. On the interplay between the constitutional rights and development psychology of children involved in the juvenile and criminal justice system. This court has repeatedly made clear that illegal reasoning that fails to consider age can lead to facetious reasoning. And then May versus Anderson, then they cited it. See also Graham versus Florida, they cited that. More specifically, this court established that the confession case turned on the youth of the accused, and then another case they cited. And the adolescents are particularly susceptible to pressure during police interrogations. More sightings. Nonetheless, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals failed to take age into account when determining the constitutionality of Brendan Dassey's confession. Amicus share a deep concern that permitting courts to conduct the analysis set forth by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals would have leave scores of children subject to coercive interrogations, heighten the likelihood of false confessions, and undermine the truth-seeking function that properly performed interrogation serve. That's something to screenshot and send to Governor Evers, huh?
Yeah,
sure does. I bet a lot of this stuff in here would be excellent to take out paragraphs and quote these people, because these are very professional people who do this for a living and they're experts in their field.
Oh, yeah. Well, and this is a very powerful statement. Nonetheless, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals failed to take age in consideration when determining the constitutionality of Brendan Dassey's confession. Share deep concern that permitting courts to conduct the analysis set forth by the Wisconsin would leave scores of children subject. Basically, they're saying that what happened to Brendan is basically something that their fear could happen to any kid in Wisconsin, and that's a scary thing.
Oh, it is.
And it has happened to tons of children, I'm sure, in Wisconsin. We just don't know about it or hear about it.
Oh,
unfortunately.
I'm sure there are, because not everybody has a making a murderer or a dream killer or, innocent men. Not everybody is that fortunate to get that. And if it wasn't for making a murderer, we wouldn't even know about Brendan. So
yeah, that's true.
Kids that have absolutely nobody, that are everyday people, just like Brendan, who are sitting there with nobody to support them. That is the saddest thought I ever could have.
Yeah. And, that's what makes me, I think back to 2007, 2008, when all this happened to Brendan and how long he sat there for God knows how many, for so long, up until 2015, just completely just by himself with just, a few family members, and that was it. It's absolutely heartbreaking to know that there are more people out there just like that, going through that right now, That's why I always tell people, like, if you know somebody in prison, regardless of what their crime is, if you feel comfortable with it, send them a letter. They're alone in there, you know? And that's sad. They don't have the support. Like, Brendan is so blessed to have Dassey Nation with him. And I know a lot of us, you know, wouldn't want to be anywhere else, you know what I mean? But, like, still, not a lot of people have that kind of support. So the summary of the argument, Amicus joined together in support of petitioners' petition for right of, I'm not even going to try that Latin word. I'm sorry. Summary of argument. More than 50 years ago, this court clearly established that children being questioned by police need protection in light of their unequal footing with interrogators, and then citing Gallows versus Colorado. The court noted that the adolescent is not equal to the police in knowledge, and understanding, and will not know how to protest his own interests or get the benefit of his own constitutional rights during interrogation. The court has also clarified that certain interrogation tactics, such as parental urgings by officials, might sway adolescents into confessing. That happened. Straight up, 100% that happened to Brendan. Remember when they were like, we're going to call your mom, Brendan, if you don't, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but not only that, Becca, I think it was Aspender that turned and says to him, I'm a parent right now, so I look on you as like looking at my son, you know what I mean? I'm not a cop right now, I'm a father. Even using something like that, you know what I mean? Which they shouldn't do.
Yep,
If you'd have said something along the lines of, right now I'm not a cop, Brendan, I'm not trying to be a cop, I'm trying to be a friend. You know what I mean? Not a father, you know?
Yep, that's exactly, calling into question the trustworthiness of juvenile confessions. Courts therefore must exercise the greatest care to ensure that juvenile confessions are voluntary. That's true. This court cautioned that constitutional standards must be calibrated to take adolescence into account, premeditates its jurisprudence. Oh, this is tough. Okay, indeed, this court has been clear that criminal procedure laws that fail to take defendants' youthfulness into account at all would be flawed. Graham versus Florida. So, I just want to like make a point out something here. Caution that constitutional standards must be calibrated to take adolescents into account. So like I teach Hunter Ed in Arizona with my parents, and one of the biggest things that we have issues with while teaching Hunter Ed is the language that we use, because normally in Hunter education, parents and student and kids and everyone's all ages, I shouldn't say of all ages, 9 and up or 10 and up, somewhere around there, can take the class and pass with a Hunter Ed license, right? But like if you have a 9-year-old, that's obviously going to learn different than a 30, 40-year-old. And that's one of the biggest things that we have, especially with tests and stuff like that. Like me talking to an adult is much different than me talking to a child. We are taught in the class, you have to talk like, I don't want to say talk down to, but you have to talk at the level of the kid's going to understand, or else the material is going to go right over their head.
Lessen your political correctness and talk to a child like a child at their level. Yeah, exactly. Because these words here that they're using, no, I don't think no 9-year-olds, no 10-year-olds, and probably no 16-year-olds are going to even know what that means.
Exactly. We have to teach at the level of what their education is. You know what I mean? And like if you have 9, 10-year-olds in the class, that obviously they're not going to know what certain words are yet. They're not going to understand how to take certain kinds of tests. We had issues with the tests as well. Like they had issues with how to read the questions and how to pick the multiple choice answer. And my mom was the one who brought that up, and she actually started the initiative of separating the children from the adults during test time, and she would actually read out the question, and they were doing better that way. But that's just something to point out with this. It's the same with the constitutional amendments and all that, and like what the Miranda warnings and all that. Not even a normal adult would understand half of that stuff, and much less a child. So like, you have a child, you ask them, like, do you understand your constitutional rights? Are they really going to understand? No, they have to break it down to them in a level they understand. And that's where the special care comes in with that too. And they just were not showing that to minors at all.
Even Miranda is very confusing because it says you have the right to be silent, or anything you say can and will be. And rather than just explaining what the right is that they don't have to speak, they start asking them questions. So
yeah,
where's your, what I mean? It's a very confusing thing. You have the right to be quiet, but I'm going to ask you questions, and out of lawfulness, and because you're an authority, I have to answer you. You know what I'm saying? So that can be taken that way. I think it's very, very confusing, and it needs to be explained or worded for certain ages. I agree.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, somebody our ages, if they say, anything, you don't have to say anything, but anything you do say can be used against you in a court of law. We understand that quite normally, right? Okay, if I open my mouth and I say something daft, I'm going to put myself in a weird position, so I want a lawyer. But when it comes to a kid, saying that to a kid, as you say, Linda, they look up to police as authority, and they've probably been told by their parents to respect their elders and don't be cheeky and everything like that. So they have to try and word it in a way for the kids that they're going to understand. Like,
yeah,
we're
and
going
it's
to be
okay
asking,
not to speak to me, even though I'm an authority. You have your right to be quiet and get your parent here or a lawyer here with you.
Exactly.
It's not disrespectful, right?
I'm going to have to ask you questions, and they're going to be difficult questions. Now, you don't have to answer them. That's perfectly fine. You're not going to get into trouble if you don't answer, or you can't answer.
Right.
And kind of word it like that. Then maybe they'd understand a bit more. And if they felt like they were getting blamed for something in a sense, then they could say, right, no, I don't want to answer any more questions.
Right. And even giving them the option of having your parent and a lawyer. They
need to definitely have a lawyer or some sort of youth counselor, not even just a parent.
Change the Miranda rights for an age where it says you are allowed to have your parent or.
No, and or. Just you have to have a lawyer with you, 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts. And even if there isn't a parent in the room, you have to have a lawyer. Because even like if you look at the Central Park 5, for instance, their parents were in the room with them.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but one of the parents, and they still got coerced into confessing.
The one parent was so scared of losing their job and everything else. You do what they say because they'll cause trouble.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the way it was back then.
You need it, but that's why you needed a lawyer rather than a parent.
Yeah.
Because there are still parents who feel that way. Parents still fear cops just as much as children do.
Yeah.
That's why you need to have a lawyer. Lawyer. Yeah. So, but that's just and I even think my understanding is that if you look at the juvenile protection law petition, that's one of the things is not necessarily saying you have to have a parent, it's a lawyer. Because I think if my understanding is correct, is that Laura Nyrider helped write it. And she specifically pointed out that yeah, absolutely, Robin, there should be both. Absolutely. But what I'm saying is that if even if the cops could try to get away with doing just a parent, not the lawyer, they would. That's why the law needs to be written saying you need to have a lawyer in there.
Yes. I agree, because parents
Yeah.
do not know the legal rights or legal factors of this stuff. Unless you're a lawyer yourself and a parent at the same time, you definitely need a lawyer there.
Yeah. Well, see, there used to be a thing here called the Section 14 interviews, and that means that you could be held anything from 6 to 12 hours without a lawyer or a parent or
Now,
anything
that
like
just
that,
doesn't
and it
sound right.
didn't matter. It didn't matter how much you asked, because Luke was street smart, I would say, and he knew the way, and he kept asking for a lawyer or his parent, and he kept getting told, no, they don't need to be in here at this precise moment in time, you know. So a lot of they kind of things have to be changed as well. It should be that a juvenile cannot be interviewed at all by anyone without a lawyer being present.
I agree. In the Central Park 5, they even hit the kids. I mean, they hit
I know. That was
as adults. So that's a very, very hard cry from anything that they would do now. I don't believe they would do that now. But just the fact that they can take advantage of somebody that says they understand what they're saying because they don't want to look stupid. And a police officer, and that's the reason why most people do agree by they understand, and signing that off without knowing that just because they're asking you a question does not mean you have to answer. They don't understand that. I mean, even as an adult, some adults do not understand that. So I really think they need to word it down or explain it. You know what I mean? I don't mean word it down. Do you understand?
I understand. You have to break it down to a comprehension. You have to break it down to a comprehensive level that the person's going to understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for kids, that means, yes, you have to word it down because kids aren't going to understand. I think there's like an actual scientific thing, like most kids don't understand more than a couple of syllable letter words or something like that.
Yeah, but then there's still some adults out there as well.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Haven't got the education maybe to understand the wordings and things like that, is something like that, you know what I mean? Whereas if you put it in layman's terms, look, do you know why you're here? We're going to have to ask you questions. Are you sure you don't want a lawyer? Because what you can say in here could be used against you at court. You know, as simple and easy as that, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't. They like to put in the big fancy words and everything like that.
I kind of tend to agree with Nan's life when she says there is a risk of a parent in there because because the kid might be afraid to say anything with the parent there. The parent might want to add or speak for the child, which could do damage, which I agree. I mean, there's too much bias.
Well, you know what they say about doctors and like how doctors can't do surgery on family members,
right?
Because they're biased or whatever. That's kind of the same. I agree with Nan's life too. I'm not saying that the parent shouldn't be in the room, but I think that there should be a lawyer in the room with the parent. I think the parent and the child should keep their mouth shut. You know, like.
Yeah. Well, I started watching Making a Murderer all over again, right? Because I kind of wanted to break down the parts that really bothered me, or talk about them, or see what we've learned from, since then.
Right.
And of course, I'm at the part where Brendan is talking, and I'm just find myself saying, say no, say, I find myself saying, Brendan, just say, I don't understand you. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? My mind is saying things for Brendan, and I found myself doing that in the beginning when I first did. You just want him to say, you don't know, you know what I mean? And it's just so heartbreaking because he doesn't know, and you can see that. And now, me knowing as much as I do about Brendan, it's really hard because you can see that he is struggling for the right thing, just the right thing. That's all he wants, the right thing. And he feels broken. You can just feel it. It's so sad. It is just sad to me.
I mean, it's not only that. I mean, as we've said before, Linda, it's the fact that every time he did tell the truth, he was getting told that he was a liar.
That's my
Yeah.
big
You know?
factor with this.
And then if he said that he's seen a bit of hair, also it was a head you seen, or I seen a finger, a toenail, also it was a foot you seen.
Yeah.
You know, they piled it on and piled it on, and I've noticed that they done the same thing with Luke as well. When he was saying something, it was like, no, Luke, you're lying, you're a liar.
You need to tell us the truth.
Yeah,
Well,
we've got people telling us this, we've got people telling us that, but they've had nothing.
The
You
one
know?
that got me the worst was when Weaver says, "Well, you better call her before we do." That was a threat to Brendan.
Yes.
That was a straight threat to Brendan for them to his mother. You know,
That's right. Yeah.
and knowing Brendan and knowing what I do know of Brendan and the situation, that was a threat to him.
Yes.
And I really feel that really hurt him, and of course that hurt his case.
Hi,
Well,
Sammy.
That was part of the plan, though, Linda. That was part of their plan. As we've said before, Brendan was picking up on their tone of voice, not what questions and things like that he was being answered, like, so, why did you not tell us that, Brendan? Oh, you should have just told us that to begin with, when he was saying something that they didn't like, it was like, now, are you sure about that, Brendan? Are you really, really sure? So that's what Brendan was picking up on in a lot of that interview, So when they are turning around and telling him, so are you going to phone your mum or are we going to phone your mum? Because I think it's better that it comes to you, Brendan. That was all a plan, so that he was going away and making that phone call right away to his mum so that they can say, well, he wasn't in the police interrogation at that point, so how could anything be coerced?
Yeah. Sorry, my puppy's chewing my hair right now. My dad walked in the room briefly, so that perked her up again. All right. Where was I on here? The court has grounded its conclusions that youth merited distinctive treatment under the law, not only in common sense, but also in scientific research showing that teenagers are more impulsive, more susceptible to coercion, less mature, and more capable of change than adults. You can go on TikTok and you can see teenagers be just that. And it's recognized that these traits are relevant to the context of police interrogations where youth lack the experience, perspective, and judgment to avoid choices that would be detrimental to them. Yeah, you can pretty much talk a teenager into doing almost anything, really, honestly.
Yep.
Like I think we all know teenagers. We all are old enough to recognize that teenagers are, no offense to teenagers that are listening, but they're kind of stupid and they're kind of will do whatever they think is popular or cool or right or pleasing. That's the other thing. Children and teenagers generally do try to please the people around them because they don't have a good self, or they don't have a good sense of self yet.
Brendan is a perfect example of that. That's what he wanted to do. He always wanted to make his mother happy and anybody around him. That's all he did. And he still does. So that just is in his nature, and they can play on that nature and take very big advantage of it, which they did.
Yeah. Yeah. The teenagers, like I said, they don't have a sense of self. Like adults do.
Remember when we were teenagers, we thought we knew everything when we actually knew nothing.
I was ready to move out of the house and pay bills and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Is what we would say over here, is they think they knew it all, but they knew fuck all. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
because they're all still going. I mean, what you knew at 16 to what you know when you're 21 or 31 or whatever is completely different to what you thought at 16,
Oh, yeah.
I think the police take advantage of the knowledge that children are raised to respect adults and respect authority.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
they literally are taking advantage of, which is setting up, which is framing a situation. Okay. So any way you look at that, it's wrong. And unless you have a lawyer and a parent and they're looking out for the best interests of that child, they will continue to do so. You know, the fact that they can lie to them, and a child is told to tell the truth. And when they tell the truth, they're told they're a liar. That is in a young person's mind, extremely confusing. Okay. How would you like to be called a liar when you're telling the truth? And when you're telling a lie, you're told you're good for it. So how are you supposed to develop that in your, or process that in your mind?
The other thing is that, you know, back when I was a kid, me and Brendan are around the same age. So when we were kids, we had the DARE programs and stuff where the police would come in and they would try to be your best friend, your buddy, you know, like, you know, you could talk to us. And it was definitely drilled into our head that, you know, police are here to help us. Police are here to be the good guys. Police are, you know, what you need to trust them. So yeah, absolutely. They took advantage of that 100%. Hi.
Say hi.
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 She's pushing buttons.
It's all good. Look, hold on. Look, the puppy's awake.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's awake and ready to commit atrocities in my bedroom.
Yes. Commit a mischief.
Yeah. She's a perfect little monster, aren't you? Yeah, you just want to chew up everything. But I love her. All right.
Okay.
So anyway.
Bye.
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 That could be detrimental to them. This precedent placed beyond dispute that the voluntariness inquired requires meaningful evaluation of a juvenile's age and developmental characteristics. By failing to give any consideration to Brendan Dassey's age, which must much less exercise the special care required by these cases, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals violated clearly established laws. We'll play with that. Okay. This court should grant the right to ensure that lower courts comply with clearly established law requiring consideration of a suspect's age in determining the voluntariness of a confession. So that's the argument. Brendan Dassey was only 16 at the time of his interrogation, yet the Wisconsin Court of Appeals failed to give any consideration to his age when assessing whether his confession was voluntary. The Wisconsin court's holding flies in the face of this court's long-established law that confessions case turned on the age of suspect, and this court's more recent opinions reinforce the importance of age and developmental status to constitutional analysis. This court has clearly established that adolescent confessions require special care to ensure they are voluntary. This court has repeatedly held that the greatest care must be taken when questioning children to ensure that their confessions are voluntary. And then here's a whole bunch of citings. More than 50 years ago, a majority of this court held unconstitutional the confession of a 14-year-old boy, emphasizing that the case of this kind turned on the youth of accused and Gallegos. According to the court, a 14-year-old boy, no matter how sophisticated, is unlikely to have any conception of what will confront him when he is made accessible only to the police. Come here. Sorry, my puppy's whining at me. That the confession came tumbling out as soon as he was arrested was irrelevant because the youth cannot be compared with an adult in full possession of his senses and knowledgeable of consequences of his admissions. To disregard this reality would be in callous disregard of this boy's constitutional rights. Which is interesting. So basically they're saying Congress ruled on this back 50 years ago on another case. But then they denied Brendan Dassey's case. How interesting.
Yep.
Hi, Barb. Hi, BB.
Happy
Hi,
4th,
Carrie.
Barb. We'll see you in 4 days. Woo-hoo. Right? 4 days.
Yeah, we'll see
We
her.
might not see her in 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, but we'll still see. We'll be there in 4 days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
looking
we'll be
forward to it.
there.
Thank you. Happy 4th to you too.
Yeah.
And hi, BB.
Puppy needs to go on the floor, not on the bed. Sorry.
Oh, hi, Sammy. Didn't see you.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, basically Congress had ruled on this back in 50 years ago about a 14-year-old boy. So like I said, it's interesting that they didn't really do anything with Brendan's case. Because Brendan's case would have been
not Marcus, Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Yeah,
right?
Carrie.
It's Carrie. Woo! I got it right.
Yeah.
Give me a brownie.
It's Carrie.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry, Becca.
You're fine. Wait, where did I leave off? The Gallegos court adopted the reasoning of Haley versus Ohio, which plurality of this court held that the youth of the suspect was a crucial factor, noting that age 15 is a tender and difficult age, marked by the great instability which the crisis of adolescence produces. The Haley plurality concluded that adolescents cannot be judged by the more exacting standards of maturity used for adults. Hey!
Okay, somebody got to break this down for dumbfund me, because I don't get it. I don't understand half these words. I'm really a very simple person.
Basically what they're saying is that back in 50 years ago, there was a case with a 14, 15-year-old kid. I don't know the case, but the Supreme Court ruled that his confession was not admissible because he was too young to understand what he was confessing to. He didn't understand the consequences of it or his constitutional rights.
Okay.
He was at an age where, at a tender and difficult age, other words, a child.
Right.
Adolescence produced and based on adolescence produces cannot be judged by the more exacting standards of maturity.
Yeah,
in other words, you can't say that a 15-year-old, 14, 15-year-old kid is like a 30-year-old man.
Some of them words they were using, I don't understand. I don't know some of them words, so I just wanted to make sure.
I mean, not only that, for crying out loud, I mean, over there in your country, they can't drink until they're 21.
I don't think they should be treated as an adult
like that until they're 21. You know what I mean? But they're quite capable of jailing a 14-year-old.
Well, see, 21 for everything. I think that should be across the board. If you can't drink, you can't, but you can serve your country, right? Okay, makes no sense. Backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I 1,000 am. Oh, I'm so with you, Barb. You have no idea. No idea, honey.
In that which would leave a man cold and unimpressed can overawe and overwhelm a lad in his early teens. The counselor T explained, and we cannot believe that a lad of tender years is a match for the police in such a contest. He needs counsel and support if he is not to become the victim first of fear, then of panic. Other words, you need a lawyer.
Yep. You need somebody that can understand this stuff. Look, I'm 59 years old. I still can't understand all this crap. You know, some of these words they use are way too big for me, but you know, I mean, I get the gist of it.
I understand them. I just can't pronounce them.
Well, yeah, I can't read them, so I skip over. I don't care. You can dumb it down. I'm not saying I'm a smart person. Okay, some things I just don't get. Some of them words are just very complicated to me. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But I get it, you know.
Yeah, I can understand them. I just can't. I have a speech impediment, so I tend to stumble over words. Anyway, so basically, yeah, this is everything that they're saying goes hand in hand with Brendan's case, which is, like I said, it's kind of mind-boggling that the Supreme Court didn't take this case on, because it really
it teaches. You know, he's a teacher for thousands and millions of people on what not to do. His case has got so many wrong again in it that they teach from it. Okay, so that is ridiculous that the teacher needs to be, or the person who made the lessons has to sit in prison when they're teaching exactly what is completely wrong with this. And he still sits there. How ass me backwards is our justice system.
Yeah. You're right.
And there needs to change in that. Justice system needs to change. Somebody needs to write reform, some kind of reform. We need to get with some senators or something. Anybody out there knows how to do this stuff. You know, you can contact any one of us. I'm ready to go full board all the way around. I will help change laws if I can, you know.
I think it needs to start with who you vote into office, Linda.
Well, I don't know how you do
for each of us. It needs to start at local level. You know what I mean? And then then work your way up.
Do I need to move to Wisconsin so I can start at Wisconsin and make it so it's Brendan that gets the first release? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I'm telling you right now, somebody needs to do something. There's got to be somebody out there that can help change the laws and free this boy. Man, you know?
I agree.
There is, I mean, I know that we are all out here doing our best, but we are not like thousands in the streets, which we need to be. You know, we are not people who are looking at a senator or people we vote for to make a change. We need to do that. We need to start somewhere. I mean, Wisconsin's so corrupt though. Who do you start with? But there's got to be somebody young coming in, or, you know, I mean, somebody that's got the right ideas, somebody that isn't afraid to fucking do the right thing, because it's just doing the right thing.
I think what you should do is you should look at who's running and what their policies and that are going to be, or you know, just send them an email and have a chat. And how do you feel on the justice system as it stands? Do you intend to look into it any further to make changes? If you would, I would be happy to hear what you've got to say, and then maybe I would give you my vote, you know, and try and be in touch with them that way at the local, like if it's just a wee community sort of, I don't know, representative first. Okay, and then that representative is going to then go on to maybe try and be mayor or governor something like that.
The governor of Wisconsin is going to run again. Okay, well, you know what? Don't free Brendan Dassey. I think most people
I don't think he's going to win.
Should not vote for him. Okay, because he's a liar. He says he wants to make change. He's pardoning or Clementine or whatever the hell that shit that he's doing for people that have already been guilty of a crime, did their time in prison, and they were guilty and they want a fishing license. Look at this kid, man, is 100% innocent. Innocent should mean something. Innocent. The word innocent should mean something to every freaking American, everybody in this land. It doesn't. Why doesn't innocence count? Why are, you know what I mean? That's the part of the justice system I don't understand. They don't look at complete innocent, you know?
No.
It just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And it needs to change. And the only way you can change it is through the government, because it's government high, you know? It all stops at Josh Call. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Josh Call stops it all. Okay. The governor doesn't even know. He needs to see us. He will see us very shortly. So hopefully it'll make a difference. But it's a small little thing that we're doing, but maybe it'll catch on.
Well, that's it, Linda. It's these small little
Because we're
things
not
that
just
can
fighting
make
for
a big
Brendan.
thing.
We're fighting for any future children too. We're fighting for any future kids too. We're fighting for a bunch of things. Brendan's just the name we're using. He's our logo. You know what I mean? And he's somebody who really desperately needs to be looked at and get out. You know what I mean? There's people they're letting out all over the place on very minor things. I can see very minor things in his case that should be letting him out. Let's start doing it. I don't know. That's what I feel. I'm not a lawyer, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, here.
I'm sorry. I can get out of soapbox. I really can.
You're fine. This court again called for caution in this Latin word, recognizing that coercion will often look different for a child than an adult. The court emphasizes that the greatest care must be taken to assure that any admission was voluntary, in the sense not only that it was not coerced or suggested, but also that it was not the production of ignorance of rights or adolescent fantasy, fright, or despair. Adolescent fantasy, kind of like what Mr. Sweat did.
Yep. Oh, let's just acknowledge that Barb gets to see Brendan July 11th, and she says it can't come fast enough for her. It's the first time she's seen her boy in a year and a half. So congratulations, Barb. I'm so very happy that you get to, and you please send him all of our love and tell him we're doing whatever we can.
Yeah, I know Pete's going with you guys, right? So yeah, I've been really happy for you guys too. And yeah, give him a big hug from all of us if you can. I don't know if you can because of COVID stuff, so give him an elbow bump for us if you can. Hopefully you can give him a hug. Where was I? Despair, fright. Yeah, despair. U.S. at 55 holding that the privilege against self-incrimination applies to children. The court noted that children might be induced to confess by parental urgings on the part of the officials, and that authoritative opinion has cast formidable doubt upon the doubt upon the reliability and the trustworthiness of confessions by children. So again, bringing in the parent. Confessions by parental urgings on the part of the official. So, in other words, like what they did to Brendan, like, hey, you know, your mom will be upset with you. Yeah, your mom's going to be upset with you. You need to tell the truth. You need to confess. Your mom already knows the truth. What else did they say? You know, you need to tell her before.
Yeah. When are you going to phone her? She'd rather hear it for you than for us.
Yep. So all of that stuff, same thing. Right. The cases underscore that mechanicalistic recognition of suspect's age is not sufficient. Rather, a court must meaningfully evaluate the impact of age on child's decision-making process and capacity to make a voluntary confession. In Gallegos, for example, the court rejected the argument that the confession was voluntary because the suspect had been advised on his right to counsel but did not ask for either a lawyer or his parent. Does anybody have any opinions while I take care of the animals?
I mean, it's the fact that all these expert witnesses are point blank saying in there, you know, what everything that they have said so far is what happened to Brendan. So how on earth are these courts not seeing this? You know, it baffles me that they're not actually taking this into consideration.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. Like, you would think that all of this stuff would have been in plain English for them to hear or to see,
Yeah.
that this obviously was the same situation that Brendan went through, endured, and yet they just didn't take it seriously or take it in.
No, or just didn't look at it at all, Becca. You know?
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. Half of them aren't actually reading this. I mean, like, Governor Evers, I guarantee you he's not even looked at this case. Because if he did,
No.
he would see what everybody else is seeing. That it's wrong and it's unjust and it's a miscarriage of justice.
I think that's the thing. It's either Governor Evers has not looked at the case and he simply is naive to this, or he
hasn't even given it a look because Josh Call stops it all. I'm telling you, the guy hasn't gotten a chance to look at it because Josh Call makes the first call before it goes to him. That's just the way it is. That's the way politics is, and he's dirty as his mother. He said he was going to follow his mother's legacy. Well, that big lot has a lot to do with the Avery case and the Dassey case.
Yeah, the way I look on that though, Linda, is Governor Evers is higher than Josh Call. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
why is he?
That's why it stops there, honey. Because Josh is supposed to take care of the lower things. Supposed to look at it before it becomes a problem to him. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that if he is any type of governor who is advocating that he's there for the people and he's interested in sorting out the justice system and everything like that, with the amount of things that have came out about Brendan's case and the wrongs and the rights of it, surely he can see, well, all these people are seeing something. There must be something there. So I'll take the initiative myself to look into what's being said and what's being done. You know? To me, that's a sensible route to follow. But it just doesn't seem to be doing that. Why not take the initiative himself? You know, he's got to think that this Josh Call's mother was involved in the case before. So take that out of his hands and look at it for himself.
Yes, you're right. Read Nan's life. She's got it. That's the way the politics work, and this is the way it is. He is the legal part of it, and he stops it before it gets to the governor. That's just the way it is. That's the way the politics run. It's not right. You can't. I mean, that's why anything that would be politically suicide, what they call it, political suicide, Josh Call will stop it. Okay, anything to do with the Avery Dassey case, he's going to stop. Same with Schimmel. That's why thank God he's gone. You know what I mean? You need some people that are new, ready to make reform, that aren't following the grandfather, grandmother way of life that is so prevalent in politics. You know?
And is he picked by the government, or is he elected by the people?
He's an elected official. But see, that's just what I mean. They all go by this blinders of my grandfather voted, his grandfather voted, they're all that way. They're farmers. They just want their farms to run right and them to fight for them as far as that goes. You know what I mean? The other stuff doesn't matter to them. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I live in the Midwest. I live in Minnesota, and what we want is less taxes, more, farming, things like that. We
Yeah.
mom and pop shops and people, recognize murder and shit. You know what I mean? George Floyd, unfortunately, did change that for Minnesota. But as you can see, we also are stepping up the game as far as that goes. We recognize the problem and we're doing that. But Wisconsin is so old, grandfathered, used to generations and generations of the same thing. And it's okay. It worked then. It might as well keep working. And I'm not saying that's bad, but that's just, to me, is how it is there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only the people of Wisconsin that can change that, though, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
If he's an elected official.
Yeah.
But I mean, he must be doing, as you say, if they're only worrying about the farms and their taxes and things like that, and he's doing the right things along the lines, then they're not going to vote him out quicker. So I think a lot more people need to stand up and take a stand, and start voting the right people in, so that they can look at these kind of things, because Brendan should have been out long before now. As I've said from the beginning, that Wayne's confession and that shouldn't even have been admissible in any court, in any land, no matter where it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nan's life is correct, though. Attorney General is an elected official. So.
Yep. And that's the one that you have to vote in, that wants to make a change, that sees something wrong and wants to take a new stand, But Josh Call said he would follow his mother's legacy, and unfortunately, yes, that is what he's doing. Okay. But you need somebody who wants to make a change, sees the problems, and they see the problems through people. Okay, so the people of Wisconsin need to start standing stronger and making more noise about it. Like us going there is going to be something new for them. Okay, so we might be a small group, and I wish it was thousands and thousands, because that would make a big difference. Okay, but right now it's not. You got to start small, baby steps, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which reminds me, next Friday, we'll be at the Calumet County Sheriff's Office.
Yep.
At 11 a.m.
So we are going to do what we can in small steps. But like I said, I'm willing to get a hold of some senator, mayor, somebody who wants to make a change. I want them to look at this kind of stuff and see what we see. I know I'm not a legal person. I'm really not even, that smart when it comes to this stuff, but there's got to be people, and there are people within our group that are this smart, that can do something. You know what I mean?
It sounds like farm. Oh dear. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lest it told me to deal with lawyers. Yeah. Well, see, they're okay. Maybe we all need to start zap mailing and emailing Josh Call too. Let's just do it.
I was just gonna say that sounds like we need to start sending pens to Josh Call then, and
some
email.
glasses. He doesn't see it. He does see it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm totally on board for that.
I think
by the way, so let's do it.
Wherever we can. We might be small, but there, if we could start getting thousands of people to do this or continually do this, it gets noticed. That's how you get change, is through what noise they're making.
Yeah.
So we can only do so much, but we'll keep on doing it, and we'll grow more and more, and maybe we can start educating more people that they need to see the corruption, because just because it's not happening to them does not mean it's not happening. Turning a blind eye does not mean that this does not happen and could not happen to their child.
And I agree, Brendan doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about any money.
That's the least thing from his mind. My God, he probably could think, who the hell cares about that?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's what I mean. Brendan just wants to go home to his family. That's all he cares about. He doesn't even care. He doesn't care about anything other than that. That's all he wants. He just wants to go home.
And he probably won't, even when he gets out. But by God damn, Barb, they owe him. They owe him. And I know that's the furthest thing from his mind and everything like that. He'll just be happy to be out and be with his family and everything like that. But by God, they owe him. And he should take them for every penny that he can get.
Yeah.
Now, Nan's life, you're pretty darn smart when it comes to this stuff. You know, you're really going to have to come up here sometime and share some of these thoughts you have here, because I agree so much with you and you have a way of wording it. I don't even know how to explain it, but you're saying exactly what I think. People need to be, you know, paying attention to this, and people who represent this, you know, Attorney General, because Josh Call ain't going to ever allow Brendan or Stephen to go. If they can stop it, they will. It's just apparent. It's the grandfather mentality that they have, and that's what they're doing. And it's that they don't want change. They can't admit that they were wrong, that what they did was wrong, what they're doing is wrong. Okay, that's like going in front of the judge that fucking convicted you and saying, please admit you were wrong and let me out. That is not going to happen. That kind of shit has to change, and people are the only ones that can change it, unfortunately. You got to get more people on board.
Yeah.
Let's send it to now. You get a pen too, Josh Call.
I was going to say, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because it's been an hour. But there's a few things I would like to say before we do that. One, let's all start emailing Josh Call. Emailing, write, and tweet, all that stuff. Let's do it. Let's say, send a pen. The Send a Pen campaign, let me get that going. A lot of people have participated. I think that's great. So keep it up. Keep doing it. And here, let me just post this. This is a vet page in case you don't need to join the vet page, but it has the addresses and stuff. There's 2 addresses. I know some people have been sending pens to both of the addresses. I believe one address is his mansion, the governor's mansion, and the other one is the actual Capitol building. So, but people have been sending to both, which is great. Yeah, just keep up with it, and hopefully somebody, I think it was Jinx, came up with like a really good idea. Tom Fassbender lives in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we should, Barb.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say I'm not surprised, because Las Vegas is a shithole in my opinion, and he's a shithole, so he deserves to be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I wonder if he grew any.
Las Vegas is a gross, disgusting place. I'm sorry. That's no offense to anybody who lives in Las Vegas. It is a disgusting place to be.
Nan's life, you're 100%
and
right.
He's a disgusting individual, so he deserves to be in Las Vegas. Yeah, that makes sense in my head. Anyway,
everybody,
what's he doing out there? He's living in sin. He's living in his filthy ways, like everybody else out there. Sorry.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, we'll take a game on his eyebrows.
He's probably in some hotel on the outskirts of Las Vegas, in some hotel with a couple of hookers.
I agree with you, Mandy. You are sure so right.
Well, Las Vegas is like everyone in Arizona generally goes to either Las Vegas for vacation or Laughlin. And
whatever goes on in Las Vegas is supposed to stay in Las Vegas. So Tom Fassbender, stay there.
Yeah, he can stay in Las Vegas. They can keep him.
I don't call him Fassbender. I call him
Oh my gosh! Like, I'm not even joking when I say like Las Vegas is like a really gross place, because it's so polluted with like pollution. It's like thick. Yeah. You can't even. Oh my gosh, it's disgusting there.
Well, I bet.
Anyway,
probably a plastic cop at the sleazy hotel.
That's what I'm saying. He's probably holed up in some hotel on the outskirts with a couple of prostitutes.
Elvis and hiding.
doing cocaine.
Dressed as Elvis.
Yeah, he's probably dressed as Elvis and hiding the twat.
Yeah,
Oh, that
He
gets a
can-
funny comment.
you can stay in Las Vegas. Ugh, oh my God.
Sin City is executive. Anyway, okay. Well, Barb, we'll be seeing you soon. Can't wait to see you again, dear. Can't wait to give you a great big hug. I'm so excited for you getting to see Brendan, especially right after the rally, which is wonderful. And be all pumped up from everybody in there for your son. And Alice and everybody else out there, me and Becca will do our best to keep you informed and on the lives and rally talk and all that. Becca, hey, a couple days I get to see you. Woo-hoo.
Yeah. Puppy wanted to say bye.
Bye, puppy.
But yeah, join the Pen Send a Pen and keep an eye on our channel for updates over the next week. You'll be seeing us go live randomly for things. And we love you too, Barb.
Yep, can't wait to see you.
And that's all I have. Oh, and we will be doing
Mandy.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm very
I think all
biased
these
against
people
Las
like
Vegas,
Las
so I do
Vegas.
apologize to anybody I offended, but I just don't care for Las Vegas or the people there. But that's my opinion. Anyway.
It's always in our opinions, so that's the way it is. Say goodbye.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
Where'd you get that?
So, and
Yes.
did you have anything, Alice, that you wanted to plug? Anything coming up for
No,
you?
you go get the
Not at the moment,
Go get
no. Not at the moment. Just happy 4th of
get
July
that stuff and bring it to
to
Nat.
everyone in America who celebrates, and hope you have a fantastic day.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Love to you.
Bye.
Bye.
It means everything, you know, to have a family that loves and supports me no matter what, and they always have my back, you know.
Yeah, and it really is heartening to know that so many people care and still care. And what would you tell people that want to get involved, that have seen your story, who didn't really have any idea of what goes on in our justice system, but now they do? Is there anything particular that you could advise someone?
Just keep fighting for me and keep showing your love and support.